I am ready to hit the ground running with you because, as Andrea just reminded me, no excuses. You either get the work done or you don't. Work doesn't do itself. It's not magic. So make sure you've got your foam roller or whatever you're rolling with. Make sure you've got a chair for split squats, stuff like that. Make sure that you've got some bands and a dumbbell or kettlebell for our rows and our single leg, straight leg rows. Yeah, and our windmills. We'll need something for windmills as well. And so I don't have a yoga mat, so I'm going to be I'm going to get my knees a little bit scarred up today, potentially. Ain't no thing. Alright, so grab your foam rollers. I'm going to mute everybody. You know, sometimes there's just like the mute everyone button is just like right there in front of my face. And then sometimes it's nowhere to be found. I don't know why it's not consistent. Because I can hear somebody's background going on. Oh, no. All right, locked and loaded, ready to go. This is our fourth week of this workout, and I'm gonna miss it because doing all of this mobility and body work pays big dividends, and I certainly feel like I can move better during a workout after we've been doing all of our foam rolling and our stretching and our dynamic mobility work. So it's worth keeping around no matter what other workouts you're doing. So just because we stop doing them in a cycle doesn't mean by any means that you should stop doing them. So what we're going to do is roll the tibials first, basically the sides of our shins, you know, the opposing or antagonistic muscles to our calves. You can do these on the ground, but I also, since I've got this little bench handy, I'm going to use this bench to elevate my upper body. I'm going to position my right shin on the foam roller, and I'm going to roll it back and forth. Again, I usually do this on the ground, but since I've got this bench here, I'm going to elevate my upper body, and that's a nice position. I can kind of lean onto the bench. And work with different angles. Oh, I feel some Rice Krispies in there. Sometimes when you're using a peanut or a lacrosse ball especially, but sometimes a really hard foam roller, you'll feel the little bumpies, the little Rice Krispies that you're rolling. And those are adhesions, kind of the pre-scar tissue building up in very highly utilized muscles. And so that's the type of stuff we're looking for. That's the type of stuff we want to massage and roll out like a bread roller. That's what I always think of it as. Our muscles are like some dough and we're rolling them out. Oh yeah, my left side here is just as good. Again, explore a little bit. Maybe you need it a little bit higher up towards the side of your knee. Or perhaps you feel it a little bit like it's a little more necessary down towards your ankle. But we're still staying on the anterior part of your lower extremity. All right, awesome. Awesome sauce. Now, let's go ahead and do probably the most traditional, most well-known type of foam rolling drill. Let's hit our backs, especially our upper posterior, the upper back. We won't really venture into the mid back as much. Let's go hips up in the air, up, 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 get them way up. And I'm really going to try to get my traps here. So I roll back and forth 3, 4, 5 times while leaning and rotating in one direction, putting most of my weight on my upper left part of my back, traps on the left side. And then I gently roll to the right side. I'm supporting my head in my hands, that way my neck's not straining too much. And now I'm hitting the right side. And so let's stay up here on the traps. You really have to try to get inverted. Push your hips up in the air. And you can get that foam roller into the nook between the side of your neck and your shoulder. And then you'll really be isolating your upper trapezius as well as possible. This is a good way when you pinpoint a certain part of your back like this. It's a good way to make the foam roller more effective, especially if you're used to the kind of spread out, divvied up pressure amongst all of the upper back muscles or multiple muscles in your back. And when you can really work the angle to pinpoint a certain spot, then you're going to get more out of it. So that way the pressure is not dispersed around as much. All right, nice. Now, we're going to hit a third foam rolling exercise today. And we're going to hit the calves because, like I said before, I feel like the calves are pretty neglected. And in my opinion, one of the most beneficial ways to utilize your roller is to hit the lower extremities. And as we already know, a lot of our tightnesses, aka our weaknesses, are derived from the ground up. Our lower extremities kind of originates from let me stay on my right side here. We're not switching yet. Remember, we've got one leg folded over, crossed over our other leg. So top leg is helping to add a little bit of extra weight, a little bit extra pressure on the bottom leg. What I was saying, a lot of times weaknesses, imbalances, tightnesses stem from your lower extremities, be it your muscles in your feet, ankle issues, calves and shins, very common. The way you walk, which can be because of those things. Get a little more of the outside. Remember, calves, we've got medial calves, we've got lateral calves, we've got the soleus, some in the middle and below. I'm kind of hitting it all right now. A little bit of a lower extremity calf shotgun approach here. All right, I'm going to go and switch legs. Fold my right leg over my left leg now. Now, as I'm rolling up and down about 4 or 5 inches, I'm just real gradually rotating my legs to the left, and I'm still rolling up and down as I gradually rotate to the right. So I'm really not skipping any angles here. Go back and forth one more time. All right, nice. We do something a little different today. We're going to bust out a shoulder dislocate variation, but we're going to stay down here on the ground. So grab your band. I'm actually going to start with my medium small band. I usually start right with my medium band for most dislocates, but I'm going to go down a size because down on this floor, seated floor position, we're actually a little bit more limited and restricted than we are standing. So let's open the weight, legs wide, feet out, legs as flat as possible on the ground, toes up. So we've already got ourselves a nice hamstring stretch. You might feel that your core is very active, challenging yourself just to maintain this position. What we're going to do is rotate towards your right leg. So rotate from the belly button up. We're going to inhale, just like we always do. Inhale when the band goes up, exhale when the band goes down. Inhale, band up, exhale, band down. Now rotate, crank it to the left. Oh yeah, now being that I didn't get very warmed up before this today, I can certainly tell how restricted I am. Glad to be doing this stuff before our exercises. And I've said it a million times, but you need to treat your mobility work and your body work, whether it's any type of active release therapy like lacrosse balls, tiger tails, foam rollers, whatever. It is part of your training. It's a component of your training, just like lifting weights, just like running. If you're doing a running program, just like doing calisthenics. It's a piece of the puzzle that's just as important, and it's really a prerequisite. It's like the bottom of the pyramid. The peak of the pyramid is your peak performance. Keep rotating from right to left. I'm going to get one more on each side. And remember, on round 2, we'll take things a little bit further. Round 2 will be rotating right to left and hinging towards our legs as well. All right, nice. Now, let's finally come on up off our butts. I'm going to do some around the world dislocates. We're familiar with these, and I really like these because it addresses our hips in a very global fashion. Really gets our lats a good stretch as well. So what am I running into here? Scoot out of the way. Here we go. I'm going to take an extra wide stance for these. That's just me. We're going to hula hoop the hips while the dislocates halo around our body. I'm going to keep going the same direction. I'm going to get 5 one way and then 5 the other way. You can see I'm pushing my hips away from the band at all times. Hips are pushing sideways, hips are pushing backwards, hips are pushing the other side, hips are pushing forward. Now I'm playing limbo. If you're really anchoring your feet and trying to make the largest circumference circle possible with your hips in opposition to where the band is, you should feel your hips stretching at all times. All right, I'm reversing my direction now. 5 reps. Remember, the bottom hand pulls down. The top hand is more vertical. Top arm is more vertical, which helps us stretch our lats individually, and the pecs, and the biceps, and the anterior deltoids. One more. There's never something that you can't find that you really need when you're doing dislocate variations like this that are really full body. Like, I could probably name 12 areas there that I was stretching at once. You're always going to find something you need. All right, we're coming back through things. Hitting the tibialis anterior on the ground. So grab your foam roller. If you're leaning onto a chair or a bench or something, you can see that I also kind of angle myself sideways. Alright, it allows me to angle myself sideways a little more, get a little bit more to the side, a little more to the front. Make sure you're relaxing your ankle while you do this. Relax your foot, let your foot just hang. Alright, I'm going to switch sides now. Other side. And you don't need to be on a bench or a stool or a chair or whatever. You've seen me doing this on the ground the last 3 weeks. Works just fine. All right, nicely done. Let's move on to our traps, upper back again. So here we are down on the ground. Hips up high. And you'll see I'm really turning my body. I got my left arm down to my side. I'm holding my head with my right hand. I'm rotating my body to the left so that I can really roll that nook, along the side of my neck, and then my upper traps on the left side between my neck and my left shoulder. We like that pressure. You've all been foam rolling for months and months and years and decades, I know. And dispersing the pressure among so many muscles. This is not doing it for you anymore. This is a great way to advance your rolling practice and maybe hit a muscle group or a region of your back that you weren't able to address before. I think a lot of us carry tension in the upper back, the base of our neck, and this is a great addition to your self-care routine for that. I'm switching to my right side now. Oh yeah. Alright, good stuff. I could probably do that for a half hour. And I know you could too. But we can do that for a half hour after our workout. Alright, we're seated. Going into that wide leg seated position. Grab a band. Same idea as before, twisting right to left, but now we'll kind of hinge and tilt, give ourselves a little more of a hamstring stretch along with it. So I'm going to rotate to the left.
The calves?
Yeah, we didn't skip those calves. Thank you, Susan. That's what I keep you around for, to keep me on track. I would not want to skip calves. I need this dearly. Starting with my left leg first this time. Now, although I am pretty nitpicky about keeping switching, right side or left side, doesn't matter so much on body work, but I'm still switching sides first. Keep things fresh. For me personally, I feel this. I'm kind of hitting the lower part of my lower extremity right now. I feel it more out on the outside, kind of like on the very outer part of the soleus when I'm rotating my legs to the left, my left leg on the bottom. But that's just me, and I think that area of my lower extremities gets particularly tight because of the way I walk and being flat-footed. Not that it's a bad thing, it's just I think the root cause. Alright, I'm switching sides. Something I like to do personally when I'm kind of assessing where I'm tight and stiff, especially my lower extremities surrounding my ankles, my calves, my shins, or even my knees, is I flex my feet. I might be standing or sitting but leaning forward, and I'll palpate, put my hands around my calves, around my shins, around my ankles, and I'll flex my feet in different ways. I'll push on the balls of my feet, and then I'll feel what muscles ignite and light up and flex in my lower extremities, or I'll suction cup my arches to the ground and push them down, kind of collapse them a little bit, feel what other muscles kind of ignite and light up, and that kind of just gives me food for thought on what areas of my kinetic chain of muscles lights up and activates when you apply pressure to different areas of your feet. Because like I said, it happens from the ground up. Feet are our roots. All right, that out of the way. Thanks for that, Susan. We would have missed out big time. I'm not getting up, I'm staying down. All right, we got legs out wide, toes pointed up. I'm gonna rotate to the left. Now I'm gonna tilt a little bit with it, not much, doesn't take much with this seated position to get a big old tug on the hamstrings. Make sure you sit back up, then rotate to the other leg, then tilt forward, then bust out your dislocate. Sit up, rotate your spine, then tilt towards one foot, then execute the dislocate. Get one more on each side. Take your time here. Feeling a lot of tightness in the hips today. Drove about 4 hours yesterday, which doesn't sound like a lot, but I don't do much driving more than 3 minutes at a time. And then sitting for 4 hours, I can just, I'm all kinds of locked up today, but that helps tremendously. All right, we've got our around the world dislocates now. I'm going to start with a little narrower stance this time, which will allow my hips to shift around a little bit more. So my feet are about hip width apart now. And since I don't have as wide of a base, my hips are a little more free to move around in this biggest circumference circle possible. Punching lamps here. I'm going to switch directions. Now, today we are going to, I got 2 more here, keep going. Today we are going to change the structure of the workout a little bit. Same exercises, but just like any cycle, we change things a little bit to give you a little different stimulus, a little different stress. And today we're going to do 2 sets of everything. Straight sets is what it is. 2 sets of exercise A, then we move on to exercise B. And so it's no longer a circuit type of workout. We hit 2 sets, then we move on. 2 sets, move on. 2 sets, move on. That makes that particular exercise harder because instead of getting to recover from that exercise while you do a bunch of other stuff and then coming back to it when you're more fresh, we hit that exercise back to back, which can make the same weight harder, or those muscles are just not as recovered and before they're forced to do the exercise again. So in that regard, it makes adding there, it makes this more effective. So we're going to start with our split squat bicep curls. So position my band under my front foot here. And I'm going to elevate my back foot onto this bench. We're going to do reverse curls like we have been. I'm going to go a little faster today. I'm going to 15 reps. Get that back knee down as close to the ground as possible. And although this is always a challenge for the balance and stability, always going to light up the thighs, glutes, and hamstrings. It's always going to get your heart rate jacked up. We are still thinking of it as a legit set of bicep curls. So squeeze your biceps as hard as you can and feel like we're not just adding these in for more things to think about. We're getting our forearms and our biceps a good set in here. Again, we're going 15 reps. Why? Because we did 12 last time. Can't do the same thing all the time. Sometimes we add volume, sometimes we don't. 15 reps feels like a marathon on that. Switch legs. Prioritize your breath now. I know your heart rate's already on the rise. As you see, my tempo's a little faster than normal. For a couple reasons. One, it's good to change tempos. And two, kind of just want to get these done. So I'm not taking my time as much as I oftentimes do. And since we're doing 2 sets back to back, spending less time balancing on one leg will help with our balance capacity, which will really be challenged on our next leg. I'm watching Andrea to keep track of my reps. So when she's done, I'm done. All right. So here we go. Back to the first leg again. We'll go down to 12 reps. Let's drop 3 reps and we'll get 12. Stay with me now. Remember to stay light on the back foot. The front foot is where we bear our weight. Yes, the back foot does alleviate some of our body weight by applying a little pressure automatically on the back foot and a little bit of a stretch in the back quad and hip. You can actually use this as a fairly good hip flexor and quad stretch in the back leg potentially. I'm switching to my left leg now where I have 12 more reps. And although doing these back to back to back to back might be a little bit harder, especially on this second set, we can be happy that we check them off and we won't see them again after this set. Not that you won't ever see them again, obviously. These are some of our favorites. Never go out of style. Now I'm really going to pick on you, and I'll show you how once you finish your reps and get your 12 reps. Grab a quick drink, take some recovery breaths. Here's how I'm picking on you, aka progressing and advancing our workout. We're going to go right into our single leg, straight leg deadlift rows, which once again is completely dictated by our balance and stability. And after doing split squats, these will be even more challenging than they would be otherwise. So today I'm going to go with same leg, same arm. I've got the kettlebell on the outside of my right arm, and my left leg is going to reach up and back, back, push into my right leg as I row with my right arm, stand up without the weight. Hinge, get yourself a nice hamstring stretch here. There's 3. Hinge, pull, put it down, stand up. Lock your hips out at the top. Open up, squeeze your glutes, pull your shoulders back. Let's get 10 reps. We did 10 last time too. We're not going to go up in volume on this one. Take your time here. Lead with the hips and lead with your back foot. You might see me touching my fingertips to the ground. If you need to do that, so be it. Last rep for me here. Oh boy, I feel that in my hamstrings more than anything. But that's what I'm aiming for. All right, switching to my left leg. And that also tells me that I'm getting a pretty good hip hinge. Your hamstrings are nice and taut. Always push that back heel up higher, push the back foot back further, because you might think that your body is in a nice straight line from your heel to your head, or that you're hinging perfectly with your back foot way up above your head. From my experience, that's not the case. One more rep, and then I'm going to switch back to my first leg. All right, you falling over a little bit like me? Good. That's the challenge here. Doesn't mean we're failing. It means we're being challenged like we should be. Always a lot to think about here. And remember, when you pull the weight off the ground, that's typically where one of the primary parts where you fall off balance. So make sure you drive your foot into the ground, flex your butt, brace your abs, and push down, which will make the weight feel lighter when you pull it up. It will also make you more stable. So think not about pulling up off the ground. Think about pushing down into the ground, and that's how we lift the weight. We're going 10 reps again, not changing the reps here. Got tight hamstrings? Chances are you do. This is a great hamstring flexibility exercise. We always like to double up, triple up, quadruple up with the benefits that we're getting out of anything we do when possible. This is a great example of that. You could be doing this exercise for a lot of different purposes, for a lot of different types of stimuli or stress that you're imposing on your body. Do these for a lot of reasons, which means that no matter who you are, you're going to be getting a lot out of it. Protract and retract your shoulder blade. When you row, retract and squeeze. When you put it down, protract and stretch. Almost fell over. I don't know how I saved that one, but I did. Almost ended up on my side on the ground. All right, finish your reps up now. Finish them up. Grab you a quick drink. You don't have much time. I just hocked a loogie down onto someone's car probably. I don't know, there's traffic down there, but I had to get rid of it. All right, so we are going to move right into our cross back lunge windmill. So we're going from lower body stability to upper extremity stability, shoulder stability. So I'm going to put this weight kettlebell up above my head, stiff arm it, my right arm. I'm going to cross back lunge with my left leg, step right into your windmill. Remember, we transition from cross back lunge right into your windmill. We don't need to stop and break it up. Keep it smooth. And remember, challenge and explore different stances. Try a narrow stance, windmill, cross back lunge, extra wide stance, windmill, cross back lunge. Here's a medium stance, windmill, Going to 10 reps. Cross back. Go narrow stance. Notice how you have to hinge differently at the hips. You have to rotate your trunk differently. How you might have to push your hips more backwards behind you with a narrow stance. All right, woo! The overhead stabilization might be the hardest part for you, or the cross back might be your favorite part. Whichever part of a big bang for your buck exercise like this challenges you the most, exposes your weaknesses the most, is automatically your favorite part. Because, as we all know, the entire purpose of training is self-improvement. That means doing what you ought to do, not what you want to do. And when you do what you ought to do, that's when you produce real results. You feel better, you live better, and that's what we're here for. Oh. So remind yourself of that when you're doing whatever your workouts are. Don't do the same thing you always do. Don't do whatever you are good at doing. That's a big pitfall for all of us, doing what we're good at. We're not here to strengthen your strengths. We're here to strengthen your weaknesses. Because remember, your weaknesses are literally the root cause of injuries or stagnation, plateauing, or simply becoming unmotivated to continue on with your training. It's not very motivating to train if you're not feeling like you're making any strides forward, not making any progress. Well, it's quite the double-edged sword, huh? We don't get where we're going on this journey. We don't stay on track if we don't do what's right for us. We're not little kids. We're not immature trainees here. We do what we need to do. Well, let me tell you something. I'd rather be doing bench press and working on my pecs than these cross back lunge windmills. But I can tell you with absolute certainty, last set here, which one of these I'm getting much more benefit out of, which will allow me to continue to do what I like to do. If I like to go do dumbbell bench presses and barbell bench presses, and I go doing that all the time, then I'm missing the point here. Like I said, when you do what you need to do, what you ought to do, in turn, you give yourself the gift of being able to do what you want to do or what you're good at better. For example, this overhead stability, this axial stability, benefits all types of chest presses, from overhead press, incline, bench press, decline, dips, push-ups. All the presses benefit from increased shoulder stability, and they all suffer from lack of requisite shoulder stability. All right, lucky for me, I get to talk through everything. Makes it go by a lot faster, but it makes it harder to breathe. Give and take. All right, nicely done. So, take a couple breaths here. Let me grab a drink. All right, so let's go ahead and I want to switch things up a little bit today to complement this workout. Let's come down onto the ground. Let's grab a band. I'm grabbing 2 bands. I'm going to loop it around one leg, and I'm going to hold the band with my opposite arm. So I'm pushing with my right leg. I'm pulling with my left arm. This is a seated rotation row. Twist and push that foot. Twist and push that foot. Yeah. Push the foot away from you as you rotate the shoulders and twist. We've seen these before. We know and love these. And today, I feel like adding them in. A little gift for you. A regalo gift. See me get this nice big squeeze and pause, because this is a strong, heavy row. That's why I'm using 2 bands right now. We got a lot of torque. And we might not be pulling the elbow back, or we might not have a great range of motion. I'm gonna get about 15 reps. But this is a torso rotation from the obliques as much as it is a row. Consider this a core exercise, not a pulling exercise. All right, let's switch legs. Get 15 on the other side. Get you a nice pause in there. Squeeze, return. Twist and pull, return. Breathe with it. You can inhale or exhale as you row. Oh yeah, nice big pause here. Twist and pause. Oh. Now today, these are replacing our single leg bridge lat pullovers. Oh, a couple more here. On round 2, we're going to speed things up. On set 2, get your 15 in here. Oh, all right, yeah. Feels like an oblique torso rotation just as much, if not more, as it does a row exercise. All right, still got this stance. I'm going wide. I'm going 15 fast now. There we go. Twist from the belly button. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. All right. Go. Now, with the single leg, straight leg deadlift rows, and the split squat bicep curls, and the cross back lunges with the windmills, I felt like it was perfectly fine to swap out our bridges and hit some core and some rotational work and some pulling. But we're not getting out of our dead stop swings. No, this is our new swing variation we've been implementing, and we're not getting out of that because this is something that we are not advanced at yet. Remember, our weight starts behind us. We've got a parallel stance, pretty narrow stance, reaching back all the way. Powered up, switch hands, complete stop. Powered up, switch hands, complete stop. Drive through one foot, then drive through the other foot. Complete stop, inhale, brace. Make sure you brace and that you're not pulling with your back. You're not yanking with your shoulders. You're simply pushing down into the ground and standing up. If you're overthinking this, think, well, what am I doing here? I'm just standing up, putting it back behind me. I'm standing up, putting it back behind me. Simple as that. Sometimes we overthink things. Remember, this is a little bit of stamina. Keep it going. We see you get 2 more reps. Supposed to get out of breath here. It's conditioning. Supposed to challenge your ability to maintain your form and focus over fatigue. So I'll take like 3 breaths now. Not giving you much time. The most important thing, just like on any swing, is to protect your back. So inhale, we need your intra-abdominal air pressure established before you stand up, before you apply force into the ground. We love the dead stop aspect of this because it does force us to utilize the starting strength. Work capacity helps develop force production. Force production is how we go about doing anything in the world around us, even just walking. Stand up, stomp and squeeze. You're running out of steam, me too. Well, we're not here doing these to stay in our comfort zone. This is our last set. Keep it going until you get about 5 more. Don't stop now. 2 more. Oh yeah. Good stuff. It's kind of weird, right? It's kind of unorthodox. It's kind of unconventional. There's a lot going on. A lot of benefit. Especially, above all, keeping your mind right. Teaching your brain to tell your muscles what to do and how you want to do it. You got to give your body new lessons to learn all the time. You can't stay in 1st grade forever. You're not going to get smarter doing that. Right? Okay. We're staying educated always. We're never done learning. Great job. Happy Saturday. Here in the city taking care of some Guatemalan business here. Can't wait to get back to the lake and give you guys a great new session next week, next Saturday, new cycle. I'm going to start thinking about it today. I think about it all week, and then I put it together, and then we have fun learning some more. So happy Saturday, and enjoy.